Today's meditation will be led by David Dennis.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to talk about the rhythm of life. I know that's a little bit heady, but I'm going to do it anyway. The rhythm of life includes smooth sailing and it includes rapids. How many of you are experiencing smooth life right now? Anybody experiencing rapids and difficulty? It's almost half and half. If we look at our life as a symphony, like Beethoven's Fifth, it starts out rough, da 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 da. That's not very pleasant. And yet, when you look at all aspects of that symphony, there's smooth parts and the rough parts, and they're integrated to produce one of the best pieces of music ever written. So today, I'm going to ask you to sit, let the chair hold your weight. You're welcome to close your eyes and get into a deep, breathing, meditative state. And in order to be fully in rhythm with where we are right now, the expectation that healing will put us back in our 20-year-old bodies may be a little unrealistic. So here we are. We all have some aches and pains. We all are living in paradise, but we all have some grief. Can you hold all aspects, the entirety, from the rough waters to the smooth waters in this present moment and greet them all with an open heart? So take a few deep breaths. I'll give you a minute or so to breathe into your life all aspects, the rough parts and the smooth parts, and greet them all with openness and a graceful attitude. Keep breathing. Take a couple of more breaths. And when you're ready, open your eyes and be present. Thank you.
Most of you know that a kiwi is a fruit, but on the outside, which we think of as a very good thing. Beautiful and glistening inside, delicious and nurturing. And today we have two kiwis that come a long way to be our presenters today. I decided not to give you a whole lot on what they're going to talk to us about, because that'll take time from what they're going to talk to us about. But I would like to tell you something about them. Manu Neho, a spiritual educator, is of Maori and Samoan descent. For the past 30 years, she's designed and delivered community programs in health, social services, education, NGOs, and Department of Justice and Corrections. There's a lot more we could say, but I'm going to now introduce Meryl Yvonne. She's a businesswoman, a trained nurse, and published author who chose to be a healer. She turned down a singing career in Nashville, though she was voted New Zealand's most promising female artist in 1984. Meryl built Waimarama International Healing and Educational Center in 1994 as central her practice. They are both from that center, among other things. So let's welcome Meryl and Manu. As I mentioned, they will talk till 11:30. And anyone who would like to leave at that point may do so quietly, and then we'll have 15 minutes of audience questions. Thank you.
Everybody. Thank you so much for welcoming us. My name is Meryl Yvonne. If I could ask you all just to take one moment, just to put your eyes open, just feel your fingertips and feel your toes. I'm going to ask you just to be as present as you can. The work I have done for 30 years is to assist the spirit, or what we call the Wairua, back to the body. I'm not going to speak for particularly long, and I'll hand over to Manu to introduce herself. The energy that we are all a part of, whatever you're comfortable calling it, universal light, the God force, it connects here at the access points, and it flows through our body. When we began duality of thought, where we had thoughts of judgment or lack or negativity, it took the focus of our thoughts away from our divinity, from our true self. When our thoughts go to the future and we have worries and concerns, it moves across to the right. When we have thoughts or blockages or locks or emotional blocks from our past, it can move off to the left. There are different diseases that are connected to either of these states. And a lot of what I have to say to you today, many of you will already know, because many of you are on that path of seeking and wishing to have great understanding to be at your optimum. When we move off to the right, the emotions are of anger and the body is hot. When we move off to the left, the emotions are more depressive and still, and the body is cold. Fast-growing illnesses, when you think of them, are like sudden heart disease, skin rashes, the slow diseases, slow-growing cancers, things in the body where the body is too still. So for 30 years, I have been bringing the energy back into center. And when I say I, it is me and my entire force of great spiritual helpers. It is never a solitary journey. So when I work with people, all of their guidance, all of their assistance, their tupunas, what we understand as the ancestors, we call them, and the energy work is very powerful. So any locks in the body begin to shift and they get taken off the energy field. So my work, there's not a lot to say, and that is simplicity, is when we are in our center, that is the key to our joy. That is our natural state. We're in a state of bliss. So when you practice meditation, you feel your body and you feel that bliss coming through you. It's because you're in that moment. So rather than thinking that you are becoming more evolved or you are becoming enlightened, you have always been that way. What you have done is lost it through duality of thought, through where your mind takes you. If I'm constantly thinking of what I have to do, then I'm not in this moment, I'm not feeling the breeze on my cheek. If I'm constantly concerned about what I did in the past, or my guilt, I am not feeling the joy in my heart. So this is a discipline for every single one of us. We are all equal in this. There is no great master or teacher for you that is greater than you. They're just bringing the energy through in greater abundance. So when you allow the energy through, and the vehicle for the energy to come through your body is your heart center. Our ability to feel love, and this won't surprise you. Every song in the history of our nation is about the ability to love and the upliftment it gives us. Our ability to love allows us to be present. I'm going to read just a couple of things from my book because it's easier to say what I've already written in some ways. The first thing I want to read to you is a dedication that I wrote for our grandchildren. The writings in this book was for the grandchildren. They were personal experiences of my spiritual journey, and I didn't want them to feel frightened by experiences that they may have. So I wrote a few things in this book, and then one day we sent it to a publisher and they said we'd like to publish it, so that was nice. The dedication is, be courageous as you paddle your own waka. You were not born alone to then follow the crowd. Do not sacrifice your innate creativity for a safe option or pressure from society's expectation. Your difference is your greatness. Within life's risks lies your lessons. Tread gently on the planet and show respect for Mother Earth and all living creatures. Like you, they too are God. Discipline your thoughts, emotions, and speech to those of love and forgiveness. To harbour judgment and resentment and to blaspheme is to block your light and disease your body. Be aware that drugs and alcohol are a back door to heaven and will not bring you the joy and bliss of the real thing. Be grateful for your embodiment. It is a privilege to be here, no matter how challenging your journey. Do not waste your life through idleness and indifference. Find extra time to joyously care for the old and the very young. Never lose sight of their great being or your responsibility to be a kind caregiver. The youth require your guidance. Find time to go within and radiate your light to those in need. This practice will expand your spiritual awakening whilst healing others. Listen to the ancient karakia prayers of your tupuna, your elders, to know truth. Face your own death or ascension with the excitement of a new journey, without need of anyone or anything. You will leave alone. Know that you are forever blessed. So, I've had the privilege of working with a few people since I've been here. What I can feel here is that there are many very high frequency, very sensitive spiritual beings, which is what has brought you here. We discussed recently at a small gathering we had that the ancestors lived in the lakes, these large bulks of water. The original native people came here for healing because they needed to be close to their ancestors. So we also live on a beautiful lake, and the first night I slept on that lake, I was taken under the water and there were a myriad of faces of the original tribal people with full facial mokos, and they were lifting their hands and saying, Tanakwe, kia ora, which is a greeting. They welcomed me. And I remember coming out of that sleep and thinking, all the ancestors are in the lake. That's amazing. They were deep in the lake. So when you feel a connection to this lake, you are close to the teachings, you are close to the ancestors. And what I'm experiencing is, with that sensitivity, many of you came in early, if you like the young ones that are coming in now are very high frequency beings. They need our guidance. We have been the path makers for those children. So they can just step into a New Age bookshop and buy the books. When I started this work, there was no information. I couldn't find anything. So a lot of that sensitivity, when you came in and incarnated into this density, it was like a shock. And there are many things here that shocked us. So the spirit, for many of you, sat to one side of the body so that it wasn't feeling such sensitivity. And so where I find many sensitive beings is slightly off to the left, or slightly off to the right. That is the key to whether you wake up in the morning and feel complete and utter joy and peace in your life, or whether your body diseases or not. So I can only encourage you to practice every day, earthing your body. This is I've asked you just to feel your hands and feel your feet. Earth your body and insist on being present. As you offer your time, your services and your heart energy in the service of others, as you look after yourself, you will get a lot of spiritual assistance to do the work that you do, and you're all gifted in your own way. One short reading, then I'm passing on to Manu. Better leave me some time, eh? I've already said I don't like speaking, and then they can't shut me up. I remember the acute fear I experienced at finding myself out of body in uncharted territory. Why couldn't I just say, wow, this is new, this could be fun? No, I fight and shout with my heart beating 90 to the dozen, as if my very life is being threatened. That is exactly it. My life as I know it is threatened. And what is more, when the panic is happening, I cannot stop it. This is how deep our fears run. We think we are adventurous. We will bungee jump off tall buildings just to prove it. We are not. We are fearful, repetitive creatures where everything we do is measured by its degree of safety. We must make the mortgage smaller before we are old, the house smaller to keep the heating bills down. I will float the company so we will have all the money we require for retirement. In fact, I'll be a philanthropist, so everyone will admire my success and want to be near me. I will never have to face life alone. I must buy medical insurance when I'm sick and life insurance in case I die. We are content or not to get up every day in the same routine, doing the same non-engaging tasks, with the same lack of passion so that we can shop for the same food specials that everybody else bought this week to survive. How did we become these sad, puny little gnats? And forgetting that we are God, that God lives in us, and all-powerful and limitless in its potential. We became afraid of what life could do to us. We fell over and skinned our knees, so now we only wear flat, sturdy shoes. We are supposed to feel pain. It is called living. But we forgot how to clear pain out of our system, how to get up and start anew, wiser for the experience. Instead, we carry pain like a great burden until the weight of it is unbearable and we cannot risk any more pain. Now we are afraid of pain, so we will live a safe life. Within my safety, I am now shutting out 80% of my creativity, my life force, my passion. My world keeps getting narrower and narrower. I'm starting to think smaller, so now I am creating fewer resources, and that makes me feel more afraid. When I surrendered my fear of the out-of-body experience, I discovered that I had a heightened sense of awareness that allowed me to access an ecstasy that has really reached in three-dimensional matter. I asked, why not? Why have I not experienced this before? Having had the experience of my life body, I refuse to become a working clone of the half-satisfied, half-alive human experience. I began to observe people's level of connectedness to spirit. It showed in their stooped bodies, their tired sighs, despair, and the lines on their faces. Whether they were working class with minimal resources or wearing the finest suit with a 6 or 7 figure income, they often shared a similar lackluster life, bogged down by life's demands with a level of dissatisfaction that fueled their addiction for food or sex. Suicide was common for both groups. Nothing in this dimension could ever compare to the soaring free fall of ecstasy I had known as my body floated through the air, twirling unhindered by body mass. Wave upon wave upon wave of pure joy. The intensity of love and unconditional giving exploded colours in my body. I had experienced the freedom of my potential without limitation. I still existed when I was not inside my body. It was not something to believe in a church grappling with the meaning of words like soul and Holy Spirit and concepts of everlasting life. I now knew it. The body was a mere sleeve that could be and would be removed as my life went on. There was a space we went to when we were not in the body, infinite space. Hundreds of millions of entities, life forms, universes, suns giving life to planets, endless possibility. We are so much more than these physical bodies. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yes. Oh, great. I just couldn't hear the amplification that you hear, so I thought it wasn't happening. Tina koutou. Te mea tūtahi ka mi atu kia koutou. Pa tōkoutou I tērā taha o te pito o tēnei wāhanga. Kia koutou katoa ara kia koutou, ngā ramatira I whakahuihui mai e tātou I roto I tēnei huihuinga. Tūtahi me mihi atu ki ngā asura o te Aotearoa. Tūrau me mihi atu ki ngā tukuna ko wehe atu ki te pō, ki te pō nui, ki te pōro, ki te pō tangatanga. Tūtoru ka mihi atu kai au kia koutou ngā tangata āta whakaaro ki te wairua I hui mai nei I roto I tēnei wāhanga. Ka mihi, ka mihi, ka mihi. Nā reira mai tōku whatsumanua kia koutou katoa. Ka mihi nunui atu au kia koutou. I greet you once, I greet you twice, I greet you 3 times from my ancestral home Aotearoa, New Zealand. With gratitude in my heart for the space and time that has been given that allows us both to come from home and enjoy this wonderful place, this spiritual place, Ajijic, and to meet with you and to share with you our experiences. As told to you by Margaret, we have the Healing and Education Centre on the shores of Lake Rotuti in Rotorua in New Zealand, which is a significantly spiritual place, as it is where the ancestor discovered the lake, and so we caretake that particular piece of land. I'm going to share with you today, and it is sharing because each of us have a wealth of knowledge. Each of us come with experiences that have grown us from the time that we have been children, that either grown us or they've depleted us or held us at a certain level. You and I are no different from each other, we are as great as each other. Nelson Mandela said it is not, although he didn't coin it of course, it is not that we are afraid to try, that we don't try, or that we will be great that we don't try. It is because we are, let me restart that. It is not because we are afraid to fail that we don't try. It is because we are afraid to find out just how great we are. We often talk about ego, and we talk about ego as this huge thing, about us being tall poppies, about being judgmental and pulling other people down, or that somebody is rather narcissistic in their ability to love themselves. We never think of ourselves as being overly humble. I have a saying that goes like this: there is a very fine line between humility and stupidity. Don't cross it. We can be over-humbled. And that too is ego. Who are you to be small in your stature? Who are you to make yourself invisible? You have a lineage that you carry, and most of us sitting here have children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I'm a great-grandmother. Which is rather a feat, really, because I'm only 25. You laugh. And who are we to be small? Who are we to limit the templates that we leave for our grandchildren, for our great-grandchildren? Because the templates our great-grandparents left for us. And they left it hoping that we would make it better. Nothing is set in stone and spirit. This is stone. That's never going to change unless somebody adds to it or somebody breaks it down. Spirit does not sit. Spirit grows. Who are we to limit who we are? Physically, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And you know, I'm sitting here and I have a physical challenge, because everything else about me is not challenged. And so this is the reason for my incarnation, I feel, that I've got to constantly work at this physical challenge. Once I can line that up with my spiritual, intellectual, and emotional state, then we're cooking with gas. I'll be putting my high heels back on, and I'll be doing the cha-cha again, because I love dancing. And you and I will be dancing the tango up and down Bravo Street. I want to talk about the duality that we live in. When we talk about positive, we open the doors to negative. When we think about things being big, we think about things being small. There are haves and have-nots. Why is it not so easy for us to just talk about being? And I dare say that you do talk about being. I dare say that you do talk about being. You constantly, basis, put apostrophes and commas. You punctuate your language. You punctuate your lives. I'm going to do this, comma, but I'm not sure how I'm going to achieve it. Okay, so the universe says, wow, she's making a decision. Let's make that happen. All right, so they call all the bits and pieces together, and you hold that focus for 3 weeks, and then you put a comma in there and you say, gee, this is too hard, and the universe says, she's done it again. We stand at the pond of life, the great pond of life, and we throw in our stones, our wishes, our expectations, and we drop them in the centre of the pond, and it sends it out. The ripples go out. Where do they go to, everybody? To the shore. And what happens to it? And what happens? They disappear? Thank you. You've obviously been to the same pond as I have. It's like sonar. It's like sonar. You throw it in, the ripples go out to the furthest reaches of the pond, or in this case, to the furthest reaches of the universe, and on its way back, it picks up everything you want. But because you're fickle, because you live in a world of duality, because you're impatient, because you can't focus, you've moved on to the next pond. And this little pond here with life that's got all the expectations that they're just waiting for you. But you're over here, looking for the next big thing. Or you're back here, as Meryl said, lamenting about the things that didn't come, because you were too busy looking to the future, you didn't see what's happening in the pond now. And your language is what assists you to be that way. Because you speak a language of social consciousness. You allow others to paint your pictures that you then colour in. We, as a body of humanity, have become and befallen that state where we allow others to talk for us. We no longer engage our brains with our hearts to know what it is that we really feel. We defer to the default setting. How many of you think you design your life? How many of you think you came here because you want to? How many of you think you really know that that's what happened? Everybody, if we have higher thoughts, if we have lofty thoughts, if we choose thoughts that we then clothe with words that we have searched for, particular words that clothe those particular thoughts, then we speak those words. That we have chosen the thoughts, we have then clothed the thoughts with the word, clothed the thoughts with the words that lift and build another. And in the lifting and building of another, it creates great joy within our hearts. It then helps to harmonise the reality. And in speaking the words, or the thoughts that have been carefully clothed with the words that you have chosen from your vast vocabulary, you then catch those words. You don't speak them and let them drop to the ground. In speaking them and letting them drop to the ground, you walk on them. They have no meaning. But to catch them, and in Māori, this particular phrase is me pui pui, then to volley those words because somebody doesn't quite understand what you mean, then you paraphrase until somebody does understand what you mean. You add to the vocabulary, you find a different word. The job of that word is to still lift and build another. And as you do that, and somebody you are communicating to hears that, they don't just hear it with their ears, they hear it with their eyes, and they see it with their ears, and they feel it with their heart. And as you do that, you start to embody that. You feel what you're speaking. You've chosen carefully the thoughts. Then you've gone and you've looked for the words in your vocabulary that will clothe those words. These are all purposeful, all with purposeful intent. You've spoken these words, you've caught these words, and now you're feeling. You're feeling them. Because my communication with you needs to be purposeful. It needs to be healing. It means something to the spirit of your ancestors. Because when I speak not as an individual. I'm not speaking of this. I'm speaking of the thousands. I'm speaking to the thousands that are here with us. I don't come alone. Meryl doesn't come alone. We've come with my ancestors from Penzance in England, from Samoa, from Germany, from my Māori ancestors, my English and Irish ancestors. Listen, the house is full, guys. Meryl's come with that many. You've come with yours. There's no space for anybody. We've got a full house here. both in this world and just beyond the veil. And they're sitting here with us, and I feel this gentle Tupuna ancestor rain that's just dropping gently on us. And it says, we are greatly pleased. And so as we talk and communicate, and we start feeling what it is that we communicate, because we've thought about it, and we are intentionally wanting to lift and build another person that we are communicating with, then we start to embody that. We start to embody that. And when you walk, you talk. Not with this, but with this. And as Meryl had said, you don't need to do anything, you just have to be. And in the being, you find the great joy. And in the knowing of being, then you have harmonized your emotions, your intellect, and your spirit. And in feeling that, you create joy and peace. And you harmonize yourself, your words, and you start manifesting anything and everything that you want. Because now you understand you can throw your little people into the pond of life, but you're no longer going to leave it there. You're going to watch the ripples go around, and you're going to keep focusing. And then you're going to wait for them to come back. You're not just going to send it out wishing and hoping like, I think Cilla Black sang that song. I won't burst into song, so that'll be nothing. And so, instead of wishing and hoping, knowing. Because your internal knowing informs your external reality. If we are fearful, we create the fearful external experiences. If we are focused, then what we are focused on will appear. It doesn't appear like magic just yet, because we're not that good at it. Our focus waxes and wanes like the moon. The longer you can focus, the longer you can hold your purse full of debt, the longer you know that you are a great being, no greater than anyone else. You just have different experiences. Not just, you have different experiences. Because each of you matter. You and I are single cells of the body of humanity. And currently in the world, and the parts of the body of humanity are experiencing some cancerous growths in the Middle East. Cancerous growths. You and I as individual cells of the body of humanity, it behooves us to find that balance, to create peace, joy and harmony within our internal existence, and to be aware of creating that balance for ourselves, therein allowing the body of humanity to heal itself. When we focus on ourselves, that is our responsibility. When we are then designing our life. We are then designing our life. When we default to social consciousness, we are then prey to the rest of the human frailty. Because then we add to the disease. We then add to the disorder. We then add to the chaos. As Meryl said earlier, that yes, it's great to be of service to our fellow men, to our community, to all in sundry even. There is a fine line between humility and stupidity. Do not walk over it. When you are flying and they go through the in-flight instructions, should anything happen, what do they say? Should one of these fall down and you're travelling with a child, please attach it to the child as we are plummeting at hundreds of feet per minute. By the time you crash, you will have passed out because it's decompressed. The child will be alive, and you'll have died and nobody to look after the child. Is that what it's all about? No, they say place the elastic band around your head, tighten it, and if you're travelling with a child, then assist that. This is a real recipe of how we are not living. We think there's mothers that we have to go without. We think that the wives, our husbands are important. And I dare say it, husbands, you think the same thing too. You know, that's your business. As wives and mothers, I have seen it forever. I'm the oldest of 10 children, and I watched my mother go without so that we could go with. And yes, that was fabulous, but what did it teach me? And what did I learn at a later stage in life? That if we don't take care of ourselves in a very real way, in a very realistic way, we are no use to anybody. We are neither ornament or use. And that is not right. Because when we're in our golden years, you not, because I'm 25, when we're in our golden years, it's a time to live. But we've expended so much energy that now we're in spaces, or many of our age group, healing, or seeking healing, or too tired, or bent over. I've got my own condition. Keep your problems to yourselves. I've got my own things to worry about. These are our challenges. But if there was one thing as a template, as parents and grandparents and great-grandparents that we could leave for our beautiful, very, very bright beings that are born now, at this very special time and dispensation of the world, is to say, take care of yourself. Walk purposely upon Mother Earth. Know who you are. Allow yourself to be. Take yourself out of the world of duality. Harmonize your internalized life, your internal life, so that it might inform your external reality. Our Māori greeting is kia ora. Kia ora. Can you say that after? I'm going to say, we're going to say kia ora to you, and I want you to repeat it to us. Kia ora. Kia ora. Kia ora. Kia ora. Kia ora. That means be well. Be in your perfect state of being. The divine meaning is te ki a ora, the utterance of the sun. And what does the sun do when it utters? It shines. It shines. And how does it shine? It's so great. Great. It shines great? Bright. Oh, bright, yes. And in that brightness, it fractures, doesn't it? And we've got beams coming down. And what is the feeling of the sun? This. So it speaks to us of light and warmth. It speaks to us of light and warmth. And where there is light and warmth, there is growth. And where there is growth, there is development. And where there is development, there's prosperity. And where there's prosperity, there is opportunity. And where there is opportunity, there is an experience. And when you have an experience, you realize potential. And then it starts all over again from a different start point. And we start all over again. We stand in the sun, we feel the warmth and the light, we start growing, we start developing, we get more prosperous, there's more opportunities, we walk through the doors of opportunity, we have greater experiences, and therefore we realize greater potential. Look, and here we are, focusing on me. You. Focusing on you. And as you have a microscopic view of who and what you are, you do this. And you grow exponentially like this. And you have a broader platform from which to perform, or to share, or to serve from. No more fine lines between humility and stupidity. They're gone. There's no duality. We know exactly who we are. We know that we're a great spiritual being. We know that we're a great light. We're standing in our light. We're developing constantly. We have purposeful intent to go forward. And we never, overextend ourselves. We do exactly as we can. And so, stand in your light, everybody. Understand who it is you are. Understand how you can create joy, peace, and harmony, and harmonize your internal reality so that you can inform your external reality of just exactly who and what you are. It is my hope, and indeed a blessing that I would like to leave with you, the blessings of our ancestors. Te whakapapaunami, te moana, kia marimo, kia hura te mari, ki te ao, te wai. May the waters you travel be smooth like glass, and may they ever reflect the joy and peace and harmony that you feel inside. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure there will be a few questions from our audience. Raise your hand if you have one, and somebody will bring you a mic. And be sure you hold the mic close to your mouth. Is somebody else on the-
Thank you very, very, very much. I really appreciated what you had to tell us. And your life has probably been reflected by the teachings when you were young, because that's when we grow. That's when we develop who we are. I've had the privilege of living in Hawaii for 35 years, and Huna sounds so much like what you folks have to say. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll say the truth is universal. Anyone have any specific questions they'd like to ask me to do with healing, to do with energy? Ask anything at all.
I've got one over here.
Good morning. Thank you for being here and sharing with us your light and wisdom. I would love to ask you, from your sensitivity and knowledge, what is important for us as a community to work in this area and with the lake?
I think collectively our energy expands. You may be familiar with one of the teachings. We've had many, many teachers grace this planet. Jesus said, where two or more are gathered in my name, I shall be there. It simply means where we come together and unify, the energy expands. So when you come together as collective groups and you join in groups for meditation, the energy expands, becomes stronger. So you live with the energy of the lake every day. What you focus on is what will manifest in your life. When I give a bird the message that says, when you visit me, I will take that message that I'm on the right track, because they are messengers from Spirit, then the bird will visit me, because that's what I have asked for, that's what I focused on. The person who says, that's a load of rubbish, birds just come to eat my breadcrumbs, won't get the same visitation. So what you focus on is what will be real in your lives, what will manifest physically, whether it's the new tiling on your swimming pool and who's going to be the best contractor, or whether you feel the experience of higher frequency in your day. So when you focus collectively together as a group, honor the spirits, honor the ancestors of the lake, call them into your group, and then collectively the energy will expand.
Good morning.
Good morning.
When you first started talking, you talked about getting rid of your past things that you've done that you wish you hadn't done.
speak of these things, and we've all read books, and the question is, well, how do I do it? And your question is, how do I begin? I created a download on our website, and you can get that information today, which you can download for free, which is like a deep relaxation. So that when I can't be here to lay my hands and help you move your energy, you can master how to do that for yourself simply through focus. So your energy is here. Very few people are disconnected here. The ones that are completely disconnected here are usually in our mental asylums. Their minds can't think straight. I don't think there's too many of you doing that. So, when you choose to focus your mind, the guided relaxation helps you to feel your body. If you take even half an hour a day and just anchor your body, and then try walking that energy into your daily life. It says, this is more important than rushing around organising the tickets for my trip, or it doesn't mean you can't get things done, you can't sit down and focus for a while on your future, that you make plans, but come back to present time and do it every day. And honour the great I am, your great being, that is your God force. It says there is a greater power that is in every one of us, that is in every living thing, and as I honour that, I experience it. And so the challenge for every one of us is to take that sensitivity, to bring it through the ability to love, and then it radiates into our physical matter. And you begin to get this synchronicity in your life. You think about, gosh, I really need to replace that PowerPoint, and the neighbour says, my son's visiting, he's an electrician. Of course he'll do it for you. Like, things begin to just happen because you've already had the thought that immediately starts to anchor into the physical, and it has to manifest in this dimension. It is the law of this dimension, that you are such powerful beings that you have forgotten how powerful you are. That power, when it comes through the mind and you feel passionate about it, has to manifest. The difference between whether it happens in this minute or in the next decade is how much of your power is coming through. If you're sitting way over here, it might take 10 years. If you're sitting here, a great master can do that and produce a rose in the palm of his hand. You're all capable of it. So when you say, where do I begin? Just begin within. Begin within, in every sense that you have, of every loving thought that you can manifest. Expand your heart and you expand your power.
Thank you.
And if you want to practice, something that is that you actually speak, because that's a really great way to start. But on a daily basis, as you wake up in the morning and as you take your feet off the bed and you sit on the end of your bed, feel gratitude for being here. Feel gratitude for being here. And forgive yourself. Doesn't matter what for. Forgive yourself. I forgive me. I call upon the Lord's forgiveness for all and any misqualified energy that I have created. Look, we've all got a past and we've all recovered from the day before. And today we're here as having recovered from yesterday. Forgiveness is a huge thing. And forgiveness of oneself is the greatest gift you could give yourself after you've given yourself the place to sit in meditation.
Meryl, it strikes me that the people here would like to know the name of your book and of your website. Would you?
Oh, I have, Dave, a couple of clipboards
Okay.
that offer a half-day workshop next Wednesday. You can order the book there, and there's little cards for you to take away where the website is.
Oh, thank you
So
very much.
I'll give Howard if he can give them to you. They'll be at the day.
Okay, you have a question back there?
Sure.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much for your beautiful and loving energy that you gave us. I would like to know what kind of healing you do in your healing center.
Healing? I work with what we call the Wairua, the energy. So from a small child I had the ability to feel everything. I was always brought the local animals in my rural community to heal. So I had a reputation, I think by about the age of 7, that if an animal was dying, they would bring it to me. So to be the energy is the healing. Like the God force, if you like, is the healing. It's whether you can bring it through the physical body. When the physical body receives the healing, it has a divine intelligence, because it has the intelligence of God, which is all light, all loving. So that divine intelligence knows exactly what to do to heal the body. So if that energy is down to 20%, you have 20% chance of healing the body. If that energy comes through at 100%, it raises in frequency. So if you think of energy frequency, every frequency has a colour. As the frequency gets faster, the colours get lighter and brighter, right through to the hues of white light and divine purple violets. I work with those colours, first and foremost. I bring those colours and introduce them to the field, and I link them through the body. I have the ability to feel, so I can know if the energy is off to the right or off to the left, or which areas are dull in the body. I can go as far deeply into the body to know how old the blockage is, whether it's been there a long time or a short time. I can feel what is a cancerous block by its density with no life form. I've said for 30 years that all cancer is the cells begin to run anti-clockwise. They now have a machine in front, they are saying cancer cells are running backwards. So cancer cells can't exist when these major wheels of energy are running clockwise. So when the energy comes into the body, it starts to spin these wheels. So when you ask me, what do I do, how do I do the healing, I brush the entire field out, and I feel the blockages and I dissipate them. Did you feel it? They didn't show. So when the blockages dissipate, all that is left is a clarity of who you are. And so that blockage may belong to 10 years ago. It may belong to the 3-year-old who was molested, that learned to leave the body and refused to come back. It may belong to a deep emotional anger or rage where somebody has let you down. And so we have the option, we have the choice to access that and choose to release it. A lot of us want to hold on to our thoughts of negativity because we want to be right. You did that to me and I'm right about it and I'm right to be angry. If we could sit back and say, all I do is damage myself and stop the great God force from coming through me, that links back to what Manu said. Every day practice forgiveness. Forgiveness of the self for letting yourself down, for not being the great being that you are. That is the healing.
Good morning, thank you for being here. I have a question for Manu about, and from the perspective of yourself and the Maori culture, about medicinal plants. It seems in North America and the world, there's a lot of revolutionary change with respect to cannabis or ayahuasca, San Pedro, or ibogaine or peyote, and just what your culture and yourself recommends and how we deal with those or relate with those plants. I'm personally going to a ceremony in a couple weeks with the mushrooms that grow around here, and I was just curious what you would recommend or what you have to say about that. Thank you.
All right. Every tree, we, as a Māori, we come from the earth. And so, as you do, as everyone does, if you think about it, our connection to the plants, to the flora and the fauna, is that of tuapana, which means older and younger. Whereas the human are the younger, and the flora and fauna are the elder. And so we have a connectivity through that. And the connectivity about that is that the fauna and the flora has all the healing properties that human, or ira tangata, need. And so there is a respect and an acknowledgement of the tuakana and tuakana status, of the elder-younger status. And that when we go into the bush to gather the medicines, there will be 3 particular trees, all of the same tree. And we have these proverbs, which is why we never pick from one tree, because then that one could become boastful and say, I healed that human. We pick always from 3 trees. And we pick on the east side where the sun rises in the morning, and we pick in the morning. And we pick in the morning because that's when the energy is the greatest. And so we pick those, and we never misuse that. There are all sorts of things. There are very powerful and potent medicines in the bush. Right now we are going through what is called, the government in Australia has said that the native Australian people can't use their medicines. And New Zealand government is currently trying to patent our medicines so that we can no longer use them as a natural resource. And so that's a constant fight.
Bad chance of you walking through the bush.
And so, which means that will limit the opportunity of the native people, the indigenous people, to secure resource, gather resource, and then make potions and lotions out of them that are for healing. I would say that if the intent is pure, my dear friend, and the acknowledgement of the sacredness of those that flora that comes from the land, and that you are in line and in tune spiritually with that. By that I mean I am of the land and the land is of me. And you have that focus, and you are respectful of the ancestors who have cared for that ad infinitum, that go in peace. However, if your intent is not pure, it will not work.
Yes, it seems to me that concludes our session today. That concludes your questions. So, again, would you please tell me where they can access this information that you are going to leave? Is it under the tree? Will you take it already? It's already under
The clipboards are on the back table there.
Okay. Okay, so
Leave your details if you'd like to join us for a half-day workshop on Wednesday. You can buy the book on Amazon, or you can put your information. I can send it from New Zealand, and I'll give you the details.
And if you want to get a session with me,
I'm doing a very few gift sessions with him on Friday. So if someone can send me a link, let me know.
thank you for coming, and please dispose correctly of your coffee cups and stack your chairs. So, hope to see you next week for Rachel.